Hey guys, I'm Shelly, and I'm a mindset mentor specializing in providing women with tools to heal and prosper. So, I wanted to take a few moments to share my story today, my journey through some of the hardest struggles of my life, including anxiety, depression, and unhealthy relationships. It's not always easy to talk about these things, but I know firsthand how powerful it can be to hear someone who's been there and that's come out on the other side. So if you're here, I hope you can take this story and it reminds you of true healing that is possible. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get into it. So during that time, we all had to shut down our businesses. And at the time, I already had my business for about 5 years, and I have a beauty spa business. I was helping women feel good on the inside and out. I loved giving therapy to my clients. It was just something just so happy and filled my heart. And they're kind of the people that would push me to do what it is that I'm doing now, where I'm actually helping coach women. And during this time, I had to shut down my salon for about 2.5 months, and I was terrified, thinking, crap, like, are we gonna have to close the salon enough where I'm gonna lose my whole business, everything that I've sacrificed and so much work that you put into a business. So it was a very scary time of my life. Everything was filled with uncertainty, and it was probably my lowest low. I remember driving in the car and having to pull over because I couldn't even drive. I felt like my heart was gonna come out of my chest. I was having panic attacks. I didn't know how to self-soothe at the time. Like, I didn't know how to do any of these things. So I had to learn really quickly. I remember being put on medication right away because I feel like that's, again, in this society, it's something that everyone's thrown medication for everything right away, instead of let's figure out where this is coming from. Let's figure out natural ways to relieve these symptoms instead of numbing myself and having to become dependent on more medication. And I made a conscious decision one day when I felt, again, my lowest low, where I had to call my parents and tell them, hey, you know what? It's gotten so bad right now that I need you to watch my daughter. Like, I remember specifically feeling so much shame that I was in a depression where I didn't want my daughter to see that and be exposed to it or be around it. It was a good week maybe or 5 days. And I told my parents, please, I need to just watch her. I need to just take a break and just sit with my feelings because I was so overwhelmed. And I was barely able to take care of myself, let alone my kid at the time. And at this point, she was around 11 years old. So I feel like that's when I finally was like, you know what? If I don't make a change now, how much worse is it gonna get? And I feel like our biggest motivation is always going to be our kids. And she's always been my biggest motivation to do better in life and to become a better mom and to become a better person and become a better communicator. And then again, continue to work on myself. So that's when I really, really got deep into personal development and kind of figuring out what do I need to do to help heal myself, because there was a lot of wounds that I wasn't processing and that continued to show up. And a lot of that included, meeting random people, dating different guys. I was trying to just fill myself with people and other things all the time and still feeling low and not realizing that was never gonna fill that cup, right? I felt in constant sadness and aloneness, but nothing that I was doing was gonna fill that. No matter how many friends I hung out with, no matter how many dates I went on, nothing was gonna heal me unless I was ready to work on it and heal myself. So I started doing research and figuring out how is it that I can do this. And then I came across little things first, like self-soothing methods. I came across breath work, which is probably my absolute favorite for whenever I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety starting. And that's how I finally got rid of my panic attacks. And then I realized, oh my God, I have the conscious decision to decide to be happy. I have the conscious decision to rewrite my story and how I spoke about myself and how I saw myself, that I don't need to live with anxiety and depression, that it's actually a choice to continue down that path. It's a choice to continue to get more and more depressed, where I would be depressed for days. And it's a choice to continue your anxiety attack and let it get worse and worse and worse, where it's almost out of control. So I started realizing that I could play with these emotions, that I was actually in charge of all of this, and that it was a physiological symptom, and my body can actually use natural tools without medication to help self-soothe. And I went on a journey of just complete self-love. So in this journey of self-love, I do remember clients kind of pushing me towards it as well. They're like, you're so good with giving advice. You're so good with, every time I leave here, I feel so healed, so much happier. And I did realize that I was also kind of feeling overwhelmed, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I wanted to heal people and in turn heal myself, but I wanted professional tools. How do I really go about this? And it got me super curious in taking a self-love coaching course. So I get to learn exactly the proper tools on how to speak with people, and the psychology behind it, and the tools on how do we heal ourselves, and self-care, self-love, self-respect, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, which is probably the biggest one for me that I needed. And then just self-worth, these kind of things. So it broke it down into bite-sized pieces. It was a 6-month course. And along that course, I actually realized oh my gosh, I needed that for me. I didn't know how badly I needed that for me. It wasn't just for my clients, it was for me. It gave me such inner peace that, alongside with all the tools that I had been learning, like meditation and breath work, and working with our past traumas, because that's probably one of the biggest ways to heal, is to kind of face a lot of these really difficult conversations with yourself. And these events in our past life, normally childhood, but some of us teenage, or young adult, things that we've been through that have molded our beliefs. And I had tons of them, and those limiting beliefs and the story that I kept telling myself kept me stunted in a way that I didn't even realize it was controlling my entire life in a really, really strong way. So I started kind of experimenting with, how do I rewrite that? How can I talk nicer to myself? I started doing affirmations. I started teaching my daughter daily affirmations, and I helped her become much more confident than from where she started within a year. So I realized the psychology behind it, that even though she was really fighting it at first and really uncomfortable with saying some of the things that she had to say because they were not what she believed, since I would continue to have her do it, it would actually start changing her mind. It would get easier and easier. And I feel like all of these tools are amazing tools. And someone can tell you, hey, you should try this, or hey, you should try this. But, at the end of the day, I realized that it's actually tons of puzzle pieces that go in together that have to do with healing yourself, and to constantly be working on yourself and becoming a better person. And I wanted to help heal women specifically. It's just always been a dream of mine. Ever since I got into the beauty business, I think that I realized that I have this gift to help people feel better, help push people to their goals, help give insight where it was really needed. And I helped women get out of toxic relationships. There were so many things that I did that made my heart so happy and just made me feel like this is exactly where I belong, is helping women. And I felt that in my heart, that that's what I'm here for. My main purpose is to help women. So I dove deeper and deeper, and each year I've healed more and more pieces of myself, because like I like to explain to people, I think that it's all an onion and we're just pulling back layers, and we're constantly working on more layers, more insecurities that we need to kind of get rid of, more limiting beliefs that we need to get rid of that are quite literally holding us back. And that is what led me to where I am today, and it didn't go without having been through some dark times, because you can't really know the light or show someone to the light without having been through the dark stuff. I've been in abusive relationships. I've been in toxic relationships where at the end of the relationship, you feel probably your lowest low. You know, they help tear you down in such a way that by the end of it, you don't even recognize who she is, and you have to like re-find yourself. And I can understand all of that, you know, I can definitely understand all of that. So that is basically my story on how I got here. And I would love to tell you guys more. I'm going to make more videos to kind of go deeper into details of different limiting beliefs that I've been able to overcome. And I'm happy to tell you now that it has been almost 3 years that I have not had to suffer with anxiety or depression. I would say even almost 4 years, actually. Yeah, almost 4 years that I have not been able to, thank God, with God's help, not had to suffer with anxiety and depression. That is not to say that I haven't been through some extremely tough times right now, personal things going on in family that have been super, you know, negative in a way, right? And I have felt the onset of anxiety maybe starting, and I've realized, no, I'm gonna use these tools, or I'll sit with my feelings for that day, you know? So there's so many things that we can do to work through it, but I consciously live as a Shelly 2.0 that no longer suffers from anxiety, no longer suffers from depression. I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of manifesting whatever it is that I desire. And if I really look at every single thing that's in my life currently, I have the greatest love of my life. I have a beautiful stepson that I'm going to be adopting. I have a gorgeous daughter. I have a great business. And I just have a beautiful life. And all these things were things that I manifested and that I remember writing on a vision board. So it's just like, at the end of the day, I've seen since, I don't know, now 10 years now, how manifestation works and how strong our thoughts are, that all of our beliefs will come out, right? Meaning negative and positive beliefs. So be very careful with the things that you imagine in your head. Be very careful with worrying about things, because you're going to attract more negative things into your life. Just have faith that everything is working out for you. I hope that this video was helpful. I would love for you to reach out to me in the description box below and comment to me if you had any part of the story that resonated with you or your healing journey. And I would love to help you. See you in the next video. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe. Have a good day.